Greetings YouTube, Sega Zombie here, and welcome back guys to another video. And do you know what, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been quite a few weeks. I've been so busy, so we're going to have a channel update because wow guys, the last 4 weeks has been crazy. I've got loads of pickups to share with you guys, loads of games I've been playing, a nice little update on the Retro Realm physical store, so let's get cracking. Right, here we go guys. What have I been playing this month? Well, first up, I've done a little short on my Sonic the Hedgehog closet that is hiding my Switch games. And we've been playing the Switch a lot. Me and Eden have been loving Cruise and Blast. She's playing this right now for us, so we can just see how much fun this game is. Honestly, this is arcade racing mayhem at its finest, guys. This was recommended to me by Alex Nintendo Arcade, and what a recommendation, Alex. This is a truly stunning game, roller coaster racing at its best. Loads of stunts, loads of tricks, really flash. Cruise and Blast, guys. It's a cheap one to pick up on the Nintendo Switch. Grab it if you can, if you love your arcade races. This is great, and I believe it's exclusive to the Switch as well. So we move along to the computer desk here now guys, and I've been playing an awful lot of 8-bit micros at home because in the Retro Realm physical store I've got a Mega Drive set up, so most days I'm playing on the Mega Drive. So in the evenings when I'm home, I've been finding that I've been really enjoying chilling out to some micros. Now I recently picked up a Commodore 64 and I got this SD card reader, which I don't know its correct name. Steve always corrects me, but I got this off Steve. 8-bit Retro Refix. Go and check him out, guys. He sold me that for a great price. And I've been playing an awful lot of this game. And that is Space Taxi. Now, Cine Steve, he always shouts this game out and says it's a tremendous game. And do you know what? He ain't wrong, guys. This is a great concept, very basic graphics, but I love the sound. Love that it kind of plays a bit like Thrust. You've got to pick up these little guys here. They'll then speak sampled speech and telling you what pad they want to land on. Great little game. Hours of fun with that. I've been playing that an awful lot. But in between that, I've been playing an awful lot on my Spectrum Next. Now, I've got this tape loader set up and I've been loading stuff from cassette because my good friend, Cy, Ginger Hippie Gaming, has let me in on something that I didn't know the Spectrum Next could do. Now, if you load a game from cassette, if you press this yellow button down the side here, it will bring up a menu and it allows you to save those games to the SD card in the Spectrum Next, which is awesome. And a game I've been playing an awful lot is this one, guys. It's Redshift Through the Next, saved from this tape. Now, this is from Bitmap Soft. This game was recommended to me on the back of doing a Spectrum Next video. Someone in comments said when I was playing Warhawk by Rusty Pixels that Redshift, in his opinion, is a better shooter than Warhawk, and it plays on the good old 128K ZX Spectrum. And do you know what? He wasn't wrong. This is a cracking little game. Let's just see if we can play a little bit of this one-handed, just to show you guys what this game's all about. Like I said, it's going to be dodgy gameplay because one hand, shaky cam. I just wanted you guys to get a little bit of a feel for this game because this is tremendous. The fact that it's running on a 128K Spectrum is awesome. And we're away. So you basically, it's your typical shooter. And it is so smooth and so fast. It's a cracking little game, guys. Awesome game. Highly recommend that. That is Redshift on the Spectrum. an upcoming video on that in the future, definitely, guys. I've also been playing on the retro bit. Been giving this a bit of love just lately because this is a game that's got a lot of nostalgia for me, and that's Sly Spy. A lovely game. I can remember me and my mate fondly playing this at our local seaside arcade, and it was cheap. It was literally 10-20 pence a go. That's why we played it. And at the time we absolutely loved James Bond, so really enjoyed this game. Data East classic in my opinion. Great action shooter platformer. So yeah, a little bit of Sly Spy Secret Agent. The Turtles cab is still not really getting any love. I fired it up for this video just so we can hear that awesome soundtrack. I still think this is going to go in the shop and put it up for sale maybe, just to make some room for another cab, because at the moment the Video Master is in my kitchen. And then panning across, the best till last, we've got the fantastic Turbo Outrun. I need to get back into this game, guys. It's been a couple of weeks or so since I've really played this. I had a go just before I set up, and I'm doing terribly. So I'm definitely got rusty at this game. I've got to get back into it, guys, and I promise you a video real soon. Oh, before we go, actually, I've got the B&O set up as well, so we'll just pan across here. The B&O is set up, and I've been getting right back into some Hero on the fantastic ColecoVision. I don't think this retro console gets enough love here in the UK. But yeah, I've been playing loads of Hero. A fantastic game. If you've never played Hero before, guys, check it out. It's available so many ways now. There's plenty of Activision compilations on the PlayStation 2 and the stuff like that to grab this game. It's originally an Atari 2600 game, which was where my memories of this game came from. As soon as I realised that this was released on the Coleco, I had to grab it. So there you go, guys. That's what I've been playing over the last couple of weeks. Let's now head over to the Sega wall and let's share with you guys my pickups and a bit of a channel update. Whoa, and here we go, guys. Back in the Sega wall. And like I promised, a channel update first of all. I have been extremely busy in the Retro Realm physical store, as you guys all know. But also, I've had COVID. Jade's had COVID. My daughter Eden's had COVID. And Connor, Jade's son, has had COVID. So we've all been life has been on hold for a good couple of weeks now. And I've had to focus on, because obviously the shop has been closed for a number of days. And it was really important that I put all of my energies, all of my efforts into the shop to make money, basically, because running your own business, it's not good when you're having days off and you're not getting paid. So that's been a lot of what's happened over the last month. But also I've been involved in a lot of streams. I'm now part of the Retro 5, which is a monthly video that goes out sometimes on Lee Retro Chef's channel. He'll present it. Paul Retro Bait, he also presents the show. But for April, guys, it's going to be Lee Nerdy Geezer. So watch out for that on Lee's channel. If you're not subscribed to any of these channels, guys, go and subscribe so you don't miss out on the Retro 5. The Retro 5 will touch on hot topics within the YouTube community. Some of them can be controversial. Some of them are just interesting topics. And it's a great laugh on there. So stay tuned for that. Also, I've just finished recording a podcast with Sega Head. Really enjoyed that with Tom. That's been pre-recorded. That will come out in the next week or two, hopefully. So I've got involved in that. I'm also toying with the idea of starting up my live streams again, which I done last year, where I just chill out with a beer, chat to you guys in comments and play some games. So I'm thinking about doing that again. There's also another series that I'm working with a fellow tuber, which I can't wait to share that with you guys because I'm really excited and I'm buzzing for it. I'm absolutely buzzing for that. I've still got loads of content to do. As promised, I've still not done a dedicated video on the Turbo Outrun cab. I will get that done, guys. I promise. I've also promised Tom, Sega Head, that I will cover a game that we talk about in the podcast. So maybe I'll do a live stream on that. Plenty of Spectrum videos I want to do, guys, because I'm loving the Spectrum Next so much that I'm playing it most evenings, the Spectrum Next. Getting into a bit of Commodore, so there's some collaboration videos in the pipelines with some of the other tubers that do micro 8-bits. So I'm really looking forward to those projects. So that's me, that's Sega Zombie. That's sort of a lot of content that's coming up. Also, we're going to cover loads of Sega because I'm Sega Zombie. I'm looking at going into finer detail on the Sega wall. A bit like what I've done on the Master System collection. Just going through it, seeing if there's games without manuals that I bought maybe 10 years ago, the condition of certain games, a bit of an upgrade to the wall, a little bit of a retrospec on the Sega wall. So I'm going to do some short videos on that as well. So yeah, there's plenty to look forward to in the channel, guys. So please don't think I've gone anywhere. I will be back with a vengeance. So hit that like, subscribe button and all that jazz. So I've mentioned the Retro Round physical store, and as I like to do because I just haven't had the time and it's not the right environment to do much filming in the store, I've put together this little montage to update you guys what's going on in the Retro Round physical store. As you can see, the shelves are brimming with memories. So much nostalgia in there. It's a dream job, guys. I'm absolutely adoring working in there. And I get to speak to so many like-minded people, so many different collectors, and so many nostalgia junkies. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. And a lot of what I'm going to share with you guys today, the pickups, a lot of them are very nostalgic today. The car booters have started again. So I've been going to my local car boot sale. I've picked up some nice little bits from there. First of all, we're going to start with this. Now, this is a Stacco tape shelving unit, which these are quite desirable. A lot of people are after this original 80s storage solutions for music cassettes, predominantly for us guys, for 8-bit micros. And I grabbed that for £1, guys. That's absolutely fantastic. I've already got the cassette cities, but I filled them long ago. There's a little sneak peek at the players collection now. And I love it. I love it. The authentic, original tape cassette holders, because it just brings back so much nostalgia from my bedroom when I was a nipper and storing all of these cassettes. So I was really chuffed to pick that up for £1. I've picked up loads of stuff for the shop as well, but this is all the stuff I'm showcasing that I've picked up. Next up, we've got some comics, guys, and I remember this set of British release comics back in the day, and you know, the nostalgia just seeing these covers again for the first time in many years, and that is the full set of the Terminator. An absolutely fantastic set of comics. These covers really just scream memories to me. They really do. I loved this comic set. I think there was only 17 issues, something like that. But yeah, we'll just run through some of the covers. But yeah, the ones that I remember fondly. But it was 1992, this set. Oh, I remember that one. But yeah, really chuffed to get those. So yeah, picked them up. And the same seller also had some really cool graphic novels. And again, nostalgic. I had these back in the day. I can remember when this one come out, I actually had a paper round. And I see them put it out on the shelf where the newsagents where I had that paper round. And I spent the money on it straight away. And that is the original Batman Tim Burton movie graphic novel. Really gorgeous artwork in here. It's so styled on the film. I think they capture the Tim Burton film brilliantly in the artwork in this. Yeah, beautiful stuff. So many memories. I used to read this all the time from cover to cover. So really chuffed to put that back in the collection. And then we've got Batman Returns. Remember being slightly disappointed with this one. The art isn't quite as good as the original, but it was still a good read. So yeah, I've got that also. And then off another stall, it's the same car boot sale, but someone else had a load of Batman stuff. And I finally managed to get one of my favourite Batman stories of all time. And that is Batman Year 2. Adore this book. I think this is a fantastic read. I read it again the other day and it's just awesome. I love the artwork. A great Batman story. But yeah, so pleased to get these because I lost these many years ago. So it's really good to put them back in the collection. And then we move on to an annual, to a cartoon series that I absolutely adored. I had a few of the toys, but I can remember my parents really struggling to track them down. And that is Battle of the Planets. Adored this back in the early 80s. Loved it. But yeah, look at that for retro. So yeah, a Battle of the Planets annual. Not often you see Battle of the Planets about. So whenever I see it, I grab it. I think I paid £1 for that. And then off the same stall that I bought the Terminator comics off, I got extremely excited. I was talking to the guy, very friendly chap, and I was saying that I was a video game collector. And he said, I've got some video game inspired graphic novels. Would you like to have a look? And I was like, yes, I would. He had Total Carnage. I think he had a Mortal Kombat one, which was damaged. But the one that really stood out, guys, and I was buzzing. I was blown away. I cannot remember this back in the day. But to have this in my collection, in the Sega wall, is unbelievable. Yeah, it's a Sega game, and it's Streets of Rage, the graphic novel. Guys, let me know in comments. Can you remember this? Because I really can't. It's not bad artwork neither. It's quite well put together. But I was chuffed sick when I see this. I really was. But what a great thing to put in the Sega wall, to put in the collection. The Streets of Rage, Bad City Fighters graphic novel. Guys, let me know in comments. One, if you remember this back in the day, or whether there were any more. I'd love to know if there was a set of these. But yeah, brilliant. I don't know much about them at all. That's it of the car boot finds. And graphic novels and comics, but something still related to cartoons. of the 80s, and I went on a pickup. A guy contacted me on the Retro Realms shop group on Facebook and said that he's a vintage toy collector. He's looking to sell up some of his collection, and would I be interested in buying it for the shop? Now, this guy was local to me, so I went around there and I bought some fantastic stuff for the Retro Realms shop. Lots of 80s action figures, that sort of thing. But one thing really caught my eye. Now, this guy is a collector predominantly of He-Man, but he also collects the original cartoon film cells to the likes of He-Man and many other awesome 80s cartoons. And one that just stood out for me, such a nostalgic scene, a great scene in the real Ghostbusters, and that is this. Look at that, guys. Apparently, I haven't opened this up yet, but behind the frame, he said it could probably do with a reframe, is the original artwork sketched on paper. But there's the original film cell or animation cell there, where you can see the background. I don't know if it's going to pick it up on camera, but you can see the background there. And then they have the laminate, which they paint the animation on. And I just think that's an absolutely beautiful thing to add. A little bit dusty, guys, where I sat here. I need to get it up on the wall. I was thinking about getting it reframed. This is staying in the collection because I absolutely adore Ghostbusters. I love the real Ghostbusters back in the day. And I just thought that's a really iconic scene out of that cartoon. He had a few others of different ghosts. But this was the only one he had with Vakeman and Slimer like that, and I thought that was really good. He done me a great price on that, so really chuffed to add that to the collection, guys. Now we move on to the games, and first up we're going to go through some homebrew games, some modern games on the Spectrum. I showcased one of these when we was going around the room looking at what games I've been playing, and that is Redshift, a cracking little shooter that has been recommended to me by a viewer on a video I done on the Spectrum Next a few months ago. And on his recommendation, I went and ordered this from Bitmap Soft. And this is a cracking shooter, guys. A brilliant top-down shooter. Think Flying Shark, but spaceship. So a bit more like Slap Fight, that style of game. And this plays tremendous. A really nice soundtrack. The controls are spot on. It's very fluid, very quick, very fast. And if you die, it's your fault. It's not a bullet hell, but it's a great little game, guys. Highly recommend that. Redshift. Then one I picked up quite a while ago and kind of forgot about, and that is Xenoblast. And I watched Nerdy Geezer Lee showcase this game on one of his videos. And I thought, do you know what? I need to get that out of the collection and give it a play. So I've been playing a lot of Xenoblast. Another great little shooter. A bit more of a puzzle element to it because you've got a lot of scenery to guide your ship around and you mustn't hit anything. So that's kind of a nice little concept to it. But a cracking little game. And then finally, this one, I might have shown it before, but this was Ginger Hippie Gaming, Sai. He showcased this game and I had to go and get it, and that's Pentacorn's Quest. I'm not usually into these puzzle sort of games, puzzle platformers, but this one's got a perfect balance. A great little game. Go and check out Sai's video on this. Really enjoyed playing that. So that's it of the Spectrum. We've got a little bit of Sega, because I'm going to end this video, guys, on a new system. Yes, a new retro console has entered the Sega pad. And before we go on to that, I've got two Sega games that I forgot to show on my last channel update video. And I picked these up on New Year's Day. Me and Jade went and stayed with Essex Retro Rob and Joe for New Year's Eve. We saw it in with those two. We had a fantastic time. And Joe and Rob took us to the Nerd Base out in Essex. An absolutely fantastic place. It's like a converted barn. I highly recommend it, guys. Go and check it out. If you love comics, you love your vintage toys, you love collecting modern, like NECA toys and things like that. They also have a floor dedicated to sort of retro video games. And I picked these two up. First of all, I got the Terminator. These are all pretty much upgrades to games that I got rid of, which didn't have a manual. This is in absolutely beautiful condition, guys. It really is. As you can see, £10 paid on that. But I thought a tenner well paid because the manual is lovely and minty. Very crisp for a Master System game. And then next up, Enduro Racer. Again, an upgrade. Because my one of these, the front cover was extremely poor. And I don't believe it had a manual neither. So this one has a manual. Not in quite as good condition as the Terminator. But acceptable. I'm happy with that. £8 paid for that one. So really chuffed to add a couple more Sega Master System games into the Sega wall, guys. And finally, we get on to the last big pickup of the video. And I've got a massive shout out to give to Steve, 8-Bit Retro Refix. All of the guys I've mentioned today, there'll be links to their channels in the description box below. Steve is a fantastic tuber, a fairly new YouTuber that does an awful lot of fixing of home computers and consoles, and he absolutely adores the Commodore 64. Now, Steve reached out to me and he said, Scott, I'd like to support the Retro Realm physical store. I've got a console that I've done a video on. Again, I'll link that video down below to this console. I don't no longer require. I just done it because I wanted to save the console. And would you like to buy it for a great price to sell on in your shop? It turns out it's a console that I've got a lot of nostalgia for, but never owned. And that console is the Philips CDI. Now, Steve is a clever guy. He has taken this apart and he's taken a chip out that has a battery internally in the chip. He's cut that out, replaced the battery, because once that battery goes, it kills the system. So this has now been future-proofed by Steve. Again, like I said, go and check out the video, guys. It's a fascinating watch. I really enjoyed that. And I really am chuffed to add this console to the games collection. And that's mostly because when I was in my teens, my first Saturday job was working for a local electronics shop called Who's TV and Audio. And they'd mostly done hi-fis, top of the range TVs, quite a specialist centre, but they did delve into sort of like the Amiga CD TV and the Philips CDI. And I can remember on a Saturday when I was working, we spent most of our time playing on the Philips CDI and being wowed by the visuals, but not so much by the gameplay. And I can remember it was a bit of a love-hate relationship, because I was getting to play a console, play some games while being paid to work, which was fantastic. But some of the games were so funny and so comical, because it was at a time, you know, this really was a multimedia system, that there wasn't much of a market for it, because obviously PCs were starting to get the multimedia stuff out there, you know, like encyclopedias, children's educational software. So there wasn't much of a market, so I think Philips tried to make this more of a console. There is some alright games on this machine, but it gets an awful lot of hate because there's some extremely poor games. So I'm really chuffed to add this to the collection. The one thing I'm trying to hunt down, and guys, in comments, if any of you guys can point me in the right direction to get a decent control pad for the Philips CDI, because I'm using this spoon controller, which ain't ideal at all. It's hard playing sort of like more of an arcadey game. It's all right on some of the slow FMV games, as you will. It's competent enough, but when you're playing some of the more true sort of proper video games, this really lets you down. So I'm after, there's two style of controllers. There's one that kind of looks like a Super Nintendo controller. Then one that looks a bit more like a Sega Saturn, Sega Mega Drive controller. They seem as rare as hen's teeth, guys. But if any of you have got one in a drawer, or know of someone, or a site that's selling them, or even if there's a modification that can be done to another pad or a third-party pad that I can use on the Philips CDI, please, guys, get in touch in the comment section below. So this leads us on to the games. Now, Steve bundled in a load of games. And first up, we've got Mad Dog McGree, which is a classic FMV shooter. Loved this in the arcades. Enjoyed it somewhat on the Mega CD, but it's a different league on the Philips CDI. That's the one thing the Philips CDI does extremely well, is these FMV games. So really chuffed to add that. We'll be talking a bit more about Mad Dog McGree in a minute. It came with a tutorial disc. Lemmings, which I've yet to play. So looking forward to giving Lemons a bit of a blast on the Philips CDI. We've got a pinball game, and I love these long cases. I wish all of the games come in these cases. These are really cool. Unfortunately, I think some of them damage easily, though. Oh, that fooled me. That actually opens that way, look. But yeah, really cool cases. So we've got pinball that I've not played that one yet. This one I have played, Alien Gate. And again, it's where this controller lets you down, because you're just not quick enough. Well, I'm blaming that controller anyway. But Alien Gate, that looks an interesting shooter. So once I get hold of a better controller, I'm hoping to give that a bit more of a play. They're the games that Steve bundled in. I'm not going to mention price because he's a great mate, and I think it's rude to do that. But he done me a fantastic deal. Thank you so much, Steve. And you've sent me down a massive rabbit hole, and I've been picking up games off eBay and all different places. And what's great about the Philips CDI is there's some real bargains to be had, because this isn't a desirable console. There's a few Nintendo games that were released, the Zeldas, the Marios, that command ridiculous sums of money, but you can still grab them on a bargain if you get them on a bid. Avoid the buy it nows with Philips CDI. And put in cheeky offers, because I noticed that some of these games have been listed for a long time. So don't be afraid to put in a cheeky offer on some. You know, I've paid nowhere near the buy it now prices on any of these games, or the sold listing prices. First up, this game was recommended to me by Cy Ginger Hippie Gaming. He says this is one of the best games on the Philips CDI. I don't think I remember this one. This is my most recent pickup. This literally turned up a couple of days ago. Not had a chance to give it a blast, but I love this box art, and it's a really cool like neon case. It's got an indentation around the burn cycle around the face there, which I think is great. It comes with the game and the soundtrack to the game, so I'm looking forward to giving that a blast in the car on the CD player. So yeah, burn cycle, I think that was about £5 or £6. It wasn't a lot, that one. It's a relatively cheap game. Buy it now, it's under a tenner. But someone throwed me an offer on that, and I accepted. This is an auction for 2 games, and I watched some YouTube videos, and they said that one of these games is a great little point and click, and that is Flintstones Jetsons, The Time Warp. Apparently this is a really competent point and click game. Again, I've not had a chance to give this a play yet, but I used to love the Flintstones growing up as a kid, and I'm looking forward to giving that game a bit of a play. It looks really well animated, because I know the CDI gets a lot of flack for the poor cutscene animations of the Nintendo games, especially the Zelda. And then that came with Cartoon Carnival. I think all in all I paid about 12 quid for those 2. So really pleased with those. And then a game that I do remember playing in Who's back in the day, and we were actually all very impressed with this game. And a lot of people in a lot of top 10 videos of the CDI, this game is often number 1, or it's very close to being number 1, and that is The Apprentice. A cracking little platformer. Reminds me a lot of an Amiga platform game, so if you love your Amiga sort of action platformers, you're going to really enjoy The Apprentice. Cracking little game. Like I said, a lot of memories. A lot of the times on a Saturday, we'd be laughing at how poor the games were on the Philips CDI, but this one shut us all up. We weren't laughing and taking the mick out of this one. We actually really enjoyed playing it, so really looking forward to getting back into this game. A cracking little game. And then we've got Space Ace. I loved these games in the arcades back in the day. I really want to get hold of the Dragon's Lair games, but Space Ace is sort of like the one that's not really talked about much. But obviously animated by Don Bluth, the same as the Dragon's Lair games. Plays exactly the same, but sci-fi. I think that's what attracted me to this game, because it's got that sci-fi element to it. Looking forward to giving this a blast on the CDI. Because, like I said, the strength of the CDI are the FMV games. And those of you that know me well know that I've got a bit of a soft spot for FMV genre of games. I really do enjoy them on the Mega CD. And the final two, the best two till last. This game I have been playing an awful lot. And it's a great side-scroll and beat-em-up. And that is Mutant Rampage Body Slam. This is a cracking little side-scroll and beat-em-up. It's not the best. It's no Streets of Rage, but it's very competent. I've played a lot of side-scroll and beaters that are far worse than this. This has got a really nice mechanic to it that as you're travelling through the level, there'll be a tag zone. And if you hit into that zone, you can change your character. So you've got like a tag team. It's got some wrestling sort of influence in the game. I found the cutscenes extremely amusing. I thought they were really well done. And yeah, the controls are really fluid. Even using the spoon controller, I was doing okay. Obviously, this game is going to go up a notch with having a half-decent controller to control the game. But some great environments. A nice varied mix of villains to beat the shit out of, you know, so I've really enjoyed this game. This is up there, guys. A cracking little game. Mutant Rampage Body Slam. Again, this is commanding sort of 40, 50 pounds. I paid nowhere near that. I won this, I think, in an auction. Or was this one? Actually, I think I put an offer in on this one. And the guy accepted because I purchased another couple of games off him. So I think he done me a deal on that. And next up is one of those games off the same seller, and that's Hotel Mario. Again, this was the game that was showcased in Who's TV and Audio on the shop floor, in all of the shop fronts, because it was Mario. This isn't a bad game. This gets a lot of flack, but it's an alright little sort of platformer. You just got to collect the coins, go in and out of the doors, shutting all the doors. I really enjoyed it, guys. Really enjoyed this back in the day. I gave it a little bit of a quick play, but again, it was a bit of an annoyance using that spoon controller. But really looking forward to playing this on a decent control pad. The music's nice. You know, it's a great little game. And then finally, I said I'd be mentioning this again. And that is Mad Dog McGree. You've got to have the light gun. And this is a beautiful box set. It really is. And it's in fantastic condition. Again, off the same seller as Hotel Mario and Body Slam. A bit of a story behind this one. This one actually got lost in the post. And the postman, I think, had a bit of a dyslexic moment. And instead of sending it to my parents' address, they sent it to the complete opposite number. So they jumbled the numbers up and sent it there. I put a post out on Facebook, actually, on our village's community group, asking if anyone had received a parcel. And they reached out and said, yes, I've got that parcel sitting here. And I went and collected it. So, you know, I thought I was going to lose this. And the seller was great. You know, I contacted him and I said straight away that this had been signed for, delivered, and that I hadn't received it. And what was quite good about the Royal Mail tracking was that it shows you a map and GPS where it was delivered to. So looking at that map, I could see that it had been delivered to the wrong address. So that's when I put that Facebook post out. But this is a cracking set. Look at that, guys. Absolutely beautiful. Let's open it up, have a little look inside. So inside we've got the manual. We've got the light gun there, which This is like it's never been used. A little bit of resistance on the trigger that's not great. Not that satisfying. Nowhere near as good as like a Sega Saturn light gun. And there's Mad Dog McGree, so I've now got a spare which I can sell in the shop. There's the sensor. I think this uses very similar technology that what we saw many years later in the Nintendo Wii. So I think it uses more like a mouse cursor. I'm not sure, guys. But a cracking set. Really chuffed with that. I think all in posted, this was under £40. And I thought, you know, there's people trying to get over £100 for this bike now. And I thought that was a cracking deal. And getting that led me to some cracking deals on Hotel Mario and the Mutant Rampage Body Slam game. So really chuffed with that. That's it for this channel update, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. Lots to cover, loads to catch up on. So much more content to come, guys. Watch out for the Retro 5 live stream in April. Also, please check out Sega Head, his podcast, which I'll put links to that down below. I'll be featuring on that really soon. There's going to be some live streams. There's going to be plenty of Spectrum and Sega content, including Turbo Outrun. So don't forget to hit that notification bell, guys. Click that like. Whack that subscribe button for future content. Until the next time, I'm Sega Zombie. Goodbye.
Sega Zombie. Sega Zombie. Sega Zombie.